So let's start off with the increased challenges around reporting objectively being made difficult by government. Is this something that is familiar to journalists in Senegal at this point in time?
So thank you, Hugo, for your invitation. So I would like to clarify first that I am speaking here as a journalist and not a member of the government, because I'm not the spokesperson. I'm not a member of the government too. So what the authorities say is that in Senegal there is no arbitrary repression, much less arbitrary arrest. There are often journalists who take sometimes political position that go so far as to slip up. Otherwise, journalists are not disturbed in their work. Like me, I can take my own case every single time I'm talking about political situation here in Senegal, social situation, unemployment, and I have ever had a problem with justice. I'm a professional and I'm doing my work, in the best ways. That's why I say here in Senegal, we are in a democratic country, and there is no problem.
You speak of there being no problem, but we've just talked about one of the presidential candidates who's been authorized by the Electoral Commission to run in the presidency.
So please, hello, Hugo.
Yeah,
hello?
I can hear you.
Can we do it again, please?
Oh, you didn't hear my question?
No, your first question. Can we recommend the interview, please?
Okay, my first question was, are journalists facing increased challenges in being able to report objectively in Senegal?
Hello, thank you, Hugo, for your invitation. Here in Senegal, journalists are no problem with justice. They are doing their work normally, in no problem, because as you know, sometimes in our media, we have some journalists who can take a political position that go so far as to slip up. Otherwise, journalists are not disturbing no more in their work. I can take my case every single time, every single day. I'm talking about the political situation right here in Senegal, the social situation, and I have ever had a problem with justice, because what you should know is here in Senegal there is no problem with journalists. We are doing our work normally, no pressure, no problem.
So Mame, the fact that you have to put a disclaimer and say that, in fact, one of the things that you've said is that there is no problem. Some journalists seem to take one side or the other. That is the nature of journalism, is it not? That a journalist expresses their opinion on how they perceive stuff, and they shouldn't be persecuted. So if your opinion is that government is being unfair to journalists, then you shouldn't be persecuted. You should be allowed to say that, because that is your opinion.
No, I would like also to point out that the press is free here in Senegal. Journalists are working in peace right here. There is no problem. There is no repression against journalists. I want to be very clear about that.
Okay, well, let's talk about politicians. Ousmane Sonko, Karim Wade, and they've been excluded from the list of presidential candidates. What are the issues surrounding their remission from the electoral roll?
So the two cases are different. Ousmane Sonko was already excluded from the process because of his conviction for defamation. Now his lawyer had submitted his application file, which is a constitutional council rejected because it was not complete. In particular, the receipt for the deposit of 30 million francs CFA rejected by the administration of the state of Senegal, named here, Caisse des dépôts et consignations. Its role is to control the deposit of the several candidates which are running to the presidential election. Now, as for Karim Wade, in his application, he attached a sworn declaration attesting that he has indeed renounced his French nationality. One of the candidates in the ruling by name of Thierno Alassane Sall then filed on appeal with the judge of the Constitutional Council to say Karim Wade still had a dual nationality, and 4 days before the publication of the final list of candidates who will take place to the presidential election, the decree of the French government announcing the loss of nationality of the son of the former president Abdoulaye Wade was made public. Just note that Abdoulaye Wade was a former president here in Senegal during 2000 to 2012. So for the Constitutional Council, it was from that moment that he renounces to his candidacy and not well before as claimed in his sworn declaration, and that is why his candidacy was rejected by the judge of the Constitutional Council.
Now, Mame, we talked about the European Union mission, and they've deployed observers to Senegal to monitor that election, which is scheduled to take place on February 25th. They've also talked about one individual, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, who's on the electoral roll, running for presidency, but is still imprisoned. What is the position with his imprisonment? Are we likely to see his release in time for him to stage some form of campaign before the election?
Can you repeat your question, please?
There is an individual, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right, who's currently imprisoned, but is running in the election.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. For the first time in our history, we got 20 candidates to the presidential election. Last time, in 2019, we got only 5. So I don't know why people say in Senegal there is no democracy, and the actors of the political and the actors of politics are boring. It's not true, because here, for the first time, we got 20 candidates for the presidential election. And the process is still running, and for sure, the country will have another president at the evening, on the evening of 25 of February 2024.
Now, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, who's in prison at the moment and is also running for president, why is he imprisoned? And is he likely to, what would happen in the event that whilst he's in prison, he's elected president? Will he then be released?
I don't understand what you said.
I said one of your candidates who's running for the election is in prison at the moment.
No, I don't have any candidate. I'm a journalist, and I am not taking a political position. Do you understand?
No, I wasn't suggesting that you're taking a political position, but you're Senegalese, and one of the Senegalese candidates is in prison. Is that correct?
Yes, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, he takes from part of PASTEF, a former party here in Senegal. So now he is still locked up, and his lawyer asked to the judge to give him, the permission to do the campaign like the other candidates. So he's still in prison.
Mame Abdou Gaye Casset, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for speaking to us. And he's a Senegalese journalist based in Senegal and unpacking for us the landscape ahead of the 25th of February election.